Hey y'all, so welcome to my channel. If you haven't watched my college reaction video, please do that. And yeah, without any further ado, I'll be going over some tips and tricks for getting into your college or even increasing your chances of getting in slightly. And I remember how hectic it was for me this time last year. Applying to 28 schools was brutal. And I really wish I had some advice that I do now. Looking back in hindsight, I want to provide that advice to you guys so you won't repeat the same mistakes I did, or you have more chances of getting in. So let's get started. Okay, so tip number 1 is set a deadline for yourself. So let's say a school has an upcoming deadline December 12th. But what you should do is set a deadline for yourself earlier than that. So maybe set a deadline on December the 1st or December the 7th. This is because you have that extra time to go over your essays, with a friend, with your counselor, and revise it, check for grammar, proofread, make it perfect, and then only send it out. Just go over everything before you submit, because that time is very crucial. Because if you don't see a mistake in your paper, right? But if you give it to your friend, your counselor, they might, find the mistake, because you're so used to writing and you're so used to reading it that you might overlook the mistake, but they might find it for you. And the counselors or your friend, whoever is editing your essay, they need time, right? Not everyone can do it in a day or even a few hours. So it is very important to do that and then turn in your essay. So another advice that I have, especially if you're applying to so many schools like I did, I advise you to use the same block for most of your essays or short responses. So if they have similar prompts, right, you can use the same essay, but don't use the exact wording, change it a bit depending on your college. And especially for schools that ask why this college, I recommend do not copy and paste from another college for why this college, because that doesn't make any sense. If you talk about Rice University when you're writing about UT Austin, that doesn't make any sense, and that's an automatic rejection. So make sure you change the college's name as you're editing your essay, but also not just the name, things about the college. So if you're writing about Rice University, if you're talking about a teacher, if you're talking about their programs, right? UT Austin might not have the same things. It might not have the same teacher's name or the same program. So make sure you're researching into every university that you're applying to. That is the main thing. Research as much as you can. I recommend that spend more time doing research than writing your essay, because when you do research, it kind of naturally comes to you. When you're looking over it, you're okay, I'm gonna write like this. You're gonna think about it without thinking about it. And in your essay, it's gonna be super fast, and it just comes naturally to you. Another advice that really worked for me was being organized by using Google Drive. So since I applied to so many schools, it was practically impossible for me to keep track of everything that I've done. So I did that by making a big folder in Google Drive, labeling it as college, and then inside that folder I made subfolders for each college that I applied to, and inside that specific college I would write using Google Docs. And that really helped me stay organized and also keep track of oh, I have done this, I have done that. And also spreadsheets are very useful. After you submit an application to college, you can just say, yes, I've submitted here, not there. And it's very good to keep that because it helps you keep in track. Another advice that I really recommend is have all kind of schools in your list. By that I mean, of course, your safeties, and then your target, and then your reach. I hope that makes sense. So safeties are schools that you know that you'll get into, you're confident in them, and so it's good to have safeties, because if you only have reach, then if you don't get accepted in any of your reach, then you have nowhere to go. So make sure you have your safety options. And then your target is I can try here, I'm pretty sure. It's maybe yes or no, it can go either way. And then reach, it's more of a struggle to get into, but still you can try it. So have that list. I would recommend probably like, the same amount in each. So if you have like 3 reach, have 3 safety, 3 target ones. That's how I would make mine. So the next advice that I want to give you is creating your resume. It's definitely not required, but I totally recommend it. So a lot of schools do not require it because you already have listed all your extracurriculars, activities, awards in the Common App section, and they're like, why do we need more, right? But if you have more, resume is a great place to do that. And some schools, it's optional, and some actually require it. So I would recommend doing that because it's really helpful for yourself to keep track of everything that you've done, and you can write more about it, like on your essay, by looking at, the list in your resume. And also, I think it is a great way to stand out from the rest of the applicants. So this last piece of advice, I think, is the best advice that I can give to you. And that is to talk to your regional counselor for that college that you want to get into. So I believe that this is very important because you want to create a good impression on them, because they're the one in the final run reading your application, advocating you, with other people, other admission counselors. They're the ones speaking for you. So I recommend you talk to them, you connect with them, ask them questions about your application, and when you submit it, like, email them back and saying, hey, thank you so much for your help. I appreciate your time, and I really want to get into school, like something like that, right? Because it makes them think like, oh, he or she is really excited, really eager to come to the school. And it creates a good impression on you. And believe me when I say this, not a lot of applicants consider this. So it already puts you ahead of the game. And you can do this literally, any opportunity you get, try to do that. Even in your school, if they like visit your school, or even virtual appointments, like a fair, anything at all, take this opportunity because it will take you places.